Hey, Alex, thanks for joining us. So, I want to introduce my
Rob?
friend Alex here. Generously had me as a guest on his show with his brother. It was a great time. I think he's one of the best streamers out there.
Appreciate
It was
that.
great to talk to you. I'm honored that you could come on tonight. I know it's short notice, so we always
No, it's
appreciate.
okay.
It's really great to hear from you. How you doing this evening?
Doing good. No, and I think X tried to sabotage it because you sent me a link talking about this yesterday, and it didn't say anything to me until earlier today. So, no, I appreciate you inviting us on. David may be joining us at some point, but I don't
Bump
know.
your volume. If you could bump your volume up in your mic just a little. Uh,
How's
so-
that?
better.
Nice.
Yeah. You can join at any time. So I don't know what I have planned here for the rest of the evening.
That's okay.
I don't think I have. I think you. Black Elk, my editor's coming on at 3 o'clock, so we have at least an hour and a half. But you can stick around as long as you like, man. Yeah, it's fantastic. So remind me again, like what neck of the woods you're in. How's your state looking? Sort of what you see on the ground with this election. You see in like you're in. Am I
I'm in
mistaken?
Poughkeepsie, New York.
Yeah, New York. Like, what are you seeing? Are you seeing
So
more momentum than 2020 for Trump? You seeing more momentum for Democrats? What do you think?
in my area where I'm at, Dutchess County, Poughkeepsie area, there's a really good blend of both. There is a blend of Harris signs, there's a blend of Trump signs. Trump has a ton of momentum here, but I mean, he's pushing for it, obviously, with the Madison Square Garden stuff and everything like that. Him winning New York is a very outside thing. But one of the things that I've been pushing on our channel, and we're going basically trying to go live as often as we can after 9 p.m. Eastern. You're always invited. Todd, it's nice meeting you. You're invited to
Likewise.
come on too.
Shit, my
You got a
bad. I
great-
should have
hey,
introduced you.
You got a great name, man. My son's name's Alex, so you got a
Oh.
great name.
So it means you're just a smart man. That's all that means.
I try, and by the way, my wife has a different story for the naming choice. I said Alexander the Great.
There you
I
go.
mean, if his name is Alexander, then it is the great. So that's all that matters.
Well, she went Alex P. Keaton, so
I mean, I like that too. That sounds
Bump your mic a little more, Alex, if you can. Just a little. It's pretty good, but me and Todd are loud people. So
How's that?
there we go. Now we're
Boom.
talking.
Boom, we're in. All right, but yeah, so it's been fairly even, but one of the things I've been saying on my channel is I don't care if you're in a super red, super blue area. What you're voting for is not only the federal, you're voting for your local and your state. And those are often more important
Yeah.
than your senator, your representative, because your councilman, your school board, whatever the hell, and all your propositions. Pay attention to those. Because over here in New York, we have Prop 1. Prop 1, basically, they want to put everything that they push for in terms of the trans issue and making illegal immigrants and the criminal aliens, making them legal. Basically, all the big things that they run on, they want to now make it into a protected category and legalize it in New York as a protected category. So make sure you are paying attention to your propositions and you're voting, regardless if your spot's like a foregone conclusion, because your local could be a buffer from a real shitty federal. So
Yeah.
if Kamala wins, but you have a good local government, a good sheriff, make sure you have a hell of a sheriff, because then they could be a buffer for all the bad things in the federal.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Also, something like here's something that I would implore people like take New York. Like, yeah, it's a very long shot that Trump would be able to lose New York, but you should at least trust in the fact that the people that are running this campaign like are intelligent people and they know they're spending time and energy in places for a reason. Why
Yeah.
do you think Trump went to New York? It's not just necessarily about winning New York. It's about setting the stage for future victories as well. So we were talking to my Congressman Glenn Thompson. He's talking about District 8 in Pennsylvania here. This is an election where it is the most expensive House race in the country. It's considered one of the most competitive races. You have this incumbent Alex Cartwright, who's like spending tens of millions of dollars on this race, most of the money coming from the DNC and outside the districts. What that does is the war chest that the Democrats have that they're now forced to spend there for that district is less money and energy that they could put elsewhere. So if you set the signal, let's say you're in California, you're like, zero chance California becomes red. I'm not even going to go vote. If you go make your voice heard this time, and maybe instead of losing by 17%, you lose by 12%, then all of a sudden next election you get someone who's a great candidate that's able to put some pressure. That forces the Democrats to say, oh shit, things are starting to change in this state. We now need to put focus there. So you're still doing your part. And it's certainly true that's on top of the most important reasons to vote, which are the popular votes still important, but more importantly,
Yeah.
those local elections, the propositions that are on there, that's obviously the most important reason. And if like it is, we all focus on national politics, but the truth of the matter is your local government will have more effect on you when it comes to sort of politics and sort of laws and such than the national government by a long shot. If you got a good sheriff, if you got good law enforcement, it smooths so much stuff out. If you got a good school board, you don't have to worry as much about your kids when you're sending them to school. All of that shit matters more than, a lot of what you see at the national level.
And on top of that, we have the douchebag named Mitch McConnell and another douchebag named Mike Johnson that controls the purses of where the money's going out to their candidates. So I know for a fact where I am in New York, our candidates are getting a grand total of 0 from both of them. Any support that they're getting is groundswell, maybe some directly from the RNC because they have better leadership, but they were still put in pretty late. So all the things that Rhino Rana was doing are still very hard to get past for this cycle. So it's really important that if you still have the time, go out, call a campaign now, because they need you more now than they did a month ago, because they're still making calls. They're still doing all these little things. So what the left has is that machine that's always willing to do that. And they know they have them in their back pocket, where a lot of conservatives are like, someone else will do it. And we got to get out of that mindset. Early voting numbers have been encouraging because even in a spot like New York, I think we're at like 30%. That's huge in New York because New York early voting, we're usually in the teens compared to where they are. So it's like there is a big bump, but overall, you got to play like you're losing. Always play like you're losing and keep on getting out there. So that's what I'm seeing in my area.
I agree. And that's the same thing I've been telling people. Like, to me, it's all smoke. All the polls say this. They say, I don't give a shit if you think Trump's up 10 or Trump's down 10. Yeah, nothing, no matter what your prediction are, none of it will matter if you don't convince people and get yourself out there to go vote. So, people today, oh my God, what do you think about this Iowa poll showing Democrats up 3? Good. I hope they put out and say that she's winning all 50 states by a landslide. Great by me. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bust my ass. I'm driving everyone I can to the polls. I'm doing everything I can to get people to vote. And it just motivates me even more. And maybe if they're overconfident, they say, we're going to take our foot off the gas. So it doesn't matter. It's all smoke. I don't care if someone's telling you I'm the most intelligent person in the world. I'm reading the tea leaves. Trump's going to win by exactly, this electoral college bullshit. Get out there and vote. Anything could happen. Anything. And so you got to play till the end, right? And you know this, as someone who
100%.
isn't, who's someone who's like, has an interest in sports. How many times have you seen the same story over and over again where you see people that let up at the end of the game at the 0?
You said you have a friend who's a Yankees Jets fan. I thought you were talking about me. I'm a Yankees Jets fan. I'm also a Devils fan. So it's like, I know the worst about you. You're set up to be good and you suck. Like, that's just how it works. The Yankees in the World Series, the Jets every single year of my existence. The Devils this year not playing defense, even though they've been better as of late. So it's like, you're right with that. And I just want to ask you, do you remember the 2020 election?
I do. Yeah.
So the basement campaign was going on, and there was, we're talking about vibes in this election, the Kamala vibes. The vibes were all there for Trump.
Yep.
Despite COVID, the rallies were massive. The numbers were massive. I was as confident in 2020 as I ever was. And I remember I am driving home from work election day, and I'm going to go. I voted earlier because I was in construction, and they were like, hey, go vote. So they let us go vote. And I'm driving home. And for whatever reason, I still listened to Hannity at the time. And I was listening to Hannity, and you can hear him like, okay, it looks like Trump might lose this area. And it looks like the poll numbers are not coming. And it was like positive in the morning the whole way. And then as it kept going down and down, and it was surreal.
Yep.
I think that's the best way to put 2020. Where like 2016, there was that high of him being the upset king with Hillary. 2020 just felt like the opposite. Yep. And we're getting a lot of that now. And I think people need to realize this is a very similar track to what we were seeing in 2020, where to the end, it looked like Trump had it because the rallies were huge. Polling was looking more positive, blah, blah, blah. we can't take that for granted again.
No, and even you could even go further than that. You go to 2022. Remember the giant red wave that was coming?
They need to stop talking about these wave shit because it happened with the blue wave and the red wave. They convince voters to stay home when they talk about that.
Yeah, that's why I say like it's all just smoke. Don't pay attention to any of that shit. It doesn't matter. Like, and I explained this earlier, but we still have the polls are dog shit anyways. But even outside of that scope of it, we have no idea what's going on. We massively changed the way our elections were done in 2020. And now this is the first national election since then. So trying to be like, well, if the polls were off 6% in this direction last time, then we could understand that means this time, that means Trump's going to be. No, that's all shit. That's all shit. You have no clue. Well, but the early voting numbers are saying, and therefore we could. No, it's all shit.
Nope.
Like, it's going to come down to who has more people that have energy that get out there election day. And one of the things you could say about Democrats is that machine they have is well oiled. They, in the places that matter, are so down to a T at getting out the vote, particularly low propensity voters, and getting out there. Now with ballot harvesting, it's even easier for them. And the only way to combat that, even if you're saying, but they're going to cheat, it doesn't matter. The only chance you have of winning then is to overwhelm it. And the only chance you have of doing that is to do everything you can to vote and convince as many people as you can to go out and vote as well.
And I also want to say right now, there's still about there's 500 people watching right now, something like that right now. If every single one of you guys watching right now decided after this election, whatever, go find your local Republican committee and join it. You will have an incredible impact. And I get it. Listen, I vote Republican. I'm a conservative. I dislike most Republicans. And I said this in committee meetings and they kind of look at me sideways. I side with Republicans because they align with more of my values. But overall, most Republicans in Congress suck. If we all get involved in just the group that's watching right now, if you go in, start infiltrating your committees, because I know your audience is a smart audience, is a conservative audience, is one that will like more of a populist, like a Donald Trump, like a why am I blanking on his name now?
JD Vance, like
JD Vance, and the friggin' governor of Florida.
No, DeSantis.
Yes. And that's the type of people that we want in, Matt Gaetz and that type of stuff. You won't get those candidates unless you're involved. If you join your committee, you're now going to be a part of your county committee by default because they all blend. And then you guys get to vet candidates. And if you find candidates that way. So I don't think people realize how important it is. And it's boring. That shit's boring sometimes. And you have to go and get signatures and you have to go do the groundwork. But these are all things that they have college kids doing on the Democrat side. We have to put in that work.
Yeah.
And if you just go join and do something like that, you will not understand the impact you're having.
Well, and it's like when I ran for Congress, right? Like I'd been involved in the county level politics, when I could, and I was pretty prolific in showing up every week, or every once a month. Every month we'd show up, go to the events, go to the dinners, things of that nature. I decided to run for Congress, and the big impediment to me running was there's this sort of barrier to entry that everyone sets up in their own head, but it's all bullshit. Once you actually do it, you're like, oh, there's this, like, I have this idea, like, let's imagine that you get invited to dinner with, like, 10 of the world's top brain surgeon, and you're going to be like, holy shit, I'm going to go, it's going to be so intimidating, they're going to be so
You get to meet Ben Carson.
Yeah, and then you go, and it's, like, all dick jokes, and people, like, shotgunning beers and stuff, and you're like, oh, right, there's this mentality that I had, like, these are going to be some very impressive people, and, I don't know how to, be involved with these. It's not like that at all. You would be shocked many times, even at the local, like at the county level, your GOPs and shit. It's literally someone that has the position because they had to beg anyone to do this shit. So it's not like, oh, this is the most qualified son of a bitch that we had in the whole county to do. No, it's like literally like, dude, we need someone. Someone please step up. And if you actually go in there with energy, we were just talking to a state rep in here, Jamie Flick, earlier. Yeah. Jamie Flick, we asked, like, how'd you get involved? This was Jamie Flick's story. He's like, all right, here's what happened. I went through a shitty divorce, and she took half of everything I had, right? And I just wanted half custody. And despite the fact that I was considered like a custodial representative for all sorts of foster kids and shit, they argued in court that I wasn't capable of being a good enough custodian to have half custody of my child. And so I said, fuck this. I'm running for office, and I'm going to write legislation that says this is horseshit. right? And he literally started at that point, based on that one thought, getting involved in his local county politics, which led to like 2 years later, him winning a seat as state rep, where he is able to write that bill. And he said, tragically, Harrisburg's so shit, it's going to take like 8 years for that bill to hopefully get passed. But that's how it was. This wasn't some guy that it's like, oh, he was some wealthy businessman that got involved in this field, years of greasing palms and stuff. That's not how it works. Like, it sounds daunting, but it's really not. It's a lot of it's boring. A lot of it's like you were saying, like getting signatures and shit like that. But it matters, and it's not intellectually difficult. And what you'll see is the relationships that you build and the people you're able to meet. The next thing you know, like me, I have a stream where I have 2 sitting U.S. congressmen came on, a former ambassador,
Freaking
state
awesome.
representative, and you get, it's like, who the hell am I? I literally just showed up, I'm like, okay, I'm running for Congress. And it was amazing. I knew that I was an incredible underdog in this election. It's an open primary, and so there's 24 people running. So I was like, well, shit, I got to get in front of people every chance I get. Start showing up to these rallies. First rally, our first conferee dinner I went to, it was the only one where all of the candidates sat in a room together. And so it's in this diner, and you got it's just Joe Schmo, regular people. They're like, yeah, we got some questions for you that are running. And like half the people I'm in this room with are state reps. They've been involved in politics 12, 16 years, business owners. Here am I, like former drunk, fucking home health care worker. Just like, who am I? And like every single question they asked, they're like, if you want to answer. I raise my hand every time. I'm just I'm just speaking off the cuff. Here's what I think about this. And like the next thing I did, my wife came with me there. She's funny. She's affable. The crowd's laughing at her. She's kind of ribbing me a little. And like when we get in the car to leave, my wife's like, Rob, they're scared shitless of you. Those other people that are running. I was like, what? She's like, they are literally scared shitless.
They don't know how to be real.
That's right. They're like, when they hear you talk, they're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Who is he? And it's not, like, I think I'm a good debater. I'm a reasonably intelligent person, but I'm nothing
Would you
special.
call yourself a master?
I would. I got a story for you.
Debater?
I got a story. So the master debater, it's something you hear all the time. So this is a true story. So I went up to Central Michigan for this different style debate tournament once. And the reason we went up there was my roommate, who wasn't my debate partner in the regular style debate we did, he wanted to partner up with me for this style debate called parliamentary debate. So we were going to Central Michigan because there was this girl that he kind of was pseudo dating that went up there. And so her sister was our coach. So our coach was like, yeah, let's go up there. I'll get to hang out with family. You guys go up. Now, I was the only one of this equation that wasn't 21. So when we get up there, all the adults go do adult shit, and they're like, Rob, we're going to leave you with some of these debaters at Central Michigan University. Tomorrow's the tournament, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of like wink and nod. As soon as they left, the debaters are like, hey, we're going to a party. You want to come? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. So we go, and we're drinking, and I'm just telling stories and shit, and people were like, oh, debate team, blah, 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 master debater. And I was like, yeah, my joke's always been, I wanted a shirt that said, Clarion Debate, we're master debaters. And on the back it says, and we also jack off a lot. That's what I wanted my shirt to say. So the next day, sobered up at the debate tournament. And I end up talking through our coach to a bunch of professors in this hallway at Central Michigan University. So campus, it's like a Friday. There's classes. I'm standing in this hallway talking to a couple professors. Class lets out. People start walking the hall. I'm talking to this professor with my assistant debate coach, and someone walked by and goes, hey, it's that guy that likes to jerk off a lot. And I'm like, and I have to try to explain this story. I'm like, oh, it's a clever twist.
So what
on the
happened
joke. Are you a
was
master debater. I wasn't actually jerking off like in public. Yes, I've only been here 24 hours.
I've only done that 5 times.
Yeah, come on. It's been a reasonable amount of self-pleasuring that I've told. But yeah, that's the story I always like to tell. So I never did get my "we like to jack off" shirt. But yeah, you heard that joke a million times, and I was like, well, I'm glad that it blew up in my
the
face.
Chat knows what to do. The chat knows what to do now.
There we go. Hey, the wife's got a cricket. I guess I could make one.
Absolutely.
But the next time I run for Congress, that'd be the picture that went viral. I'd be like, yeah, I'll own it.
That needs to be your campaign slogan.
Yeah. Also,
there you go.
My dad.
Carlos, nice to meet you.
Oh yeah, Carlos. This is Alex.
We never met.
Yeah, you're gonna love Alex. He had me just.
Is Alex the guy that's been on the chat for the last couple hours?
Yeah, I've been messing around there.
Yeah.
How are you? Nice to meet you, Alex.
Nice to meet you, man.
Thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Politics aficionado and sports junkie. So I know
and nerd and everything.
Yeah. You'll love
so
Carlos.
what's your favorite sport?
Ooh, football probably. But I ran track in college, so I pay attention to track. One of the rare ones.
Oh, fantastic. So interesting side note. my grandson is 8 years old, lives in Malvern, New Jersey.
Mhm.
And at 8 years old, he's been participating for 3 years in a row in track.
Yeah.
So Malvern has like a track rec league.
Which we need more of.
And I never heard of it. It was
it's
like,
awesome.
wow, awesome. And he is at 8 years old, the 3-year reigning champion at the half mile.
That's awesome. I was a half miler.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really cool.
That was 3 weeks ago that we went down to see him and we saw the race. It was the first time in 3 years that we saw him race, but very cool. Very cool.
So on that note,
And you know, and the thing is, at 8 years old, you know, he's still agile enough. I'm not sure if that's the word, but he gets out to these huge leads and then maintains a certain speed to the end. It's instinctive. It's intuitive.
yeah, and he'll learn how to
that's-
race as he gets older.
Yeah, yeah. But very cool. I thought it was great. So
Yeah.
That's my track story.
So I'm going to give a plug to my other show, which is a track and field show called
Oh, really?
Tracking in Ovals, where me and a former coach of mine, we interview some of the greats in track and field, some Olympians, some gold medalists. So yeah, no, that's if anyone's a track fan in the chat, Talking in Ovals, go take a look over there.
That's awesome.
But
Carlos,
great
also
name.
didn't you say, Carlos, that you used to drive limo for some of the New Jersey Devils? Is that not true?
So before I went to Hollywood,
Mhm.
In 1990, I divested my whole entire life and went to Hollywood for 5 years. But before I went to Hollywood, for about a period of 3.5 years, 4 years, I owned a limousine company in North Jersey. And I had, I had a lot of corporate accounts: Warner Lambert, AT&T,
nice.
and I had the Chinese embassy. So I'm a puppet of the Chinese, Rob. And
Look at you, you CCP supporter.
and Ciba Geigy, a lot of private accounts.
Sibagagi got in some trouble.
Yeah, I know. And then I had a friend of mine who owned another limousine company, but worked part-time at yet another limousine company. And that company needed drivers for an event for the Devils. And I brought my limo. I had a specialty limo. I had a Lincoln Town Car, but it was unique because it was extra wide. So instead of fitting 4 people comfortably or 6 people comfortably in a limo, I could fit 8. And I instantly became friends with Kirk Muller,
Nice.
who at that time was the captain.
Yeah.
And then went on to be the captain of the Montreal Canadiens, and then won the Stanley Cup in 1993.
Which, interestingly enough, the Habs are my second favorite team because my last name is Cuesta, and when I was young, that C looked really cool.
Ah,
It does look pretty cool. What's your first favorite
The
team?
Devils.
The Devils.
that's why I
Jersey
brought
boy.
it up. Yeah.
Right. No,
I grew up in
perfect.
Jersey. I grew up right next to Seaside Heights. And it's interesting because what were the other 2 companies for limousines? Because I actually had a family friend who owned a limousine company.
What were the actual what? Say it again.
What was the names of any of the other companies, if you remember? Because I had a friend who owned a company named Statewide
Oh,
Limousines.
yeah. Statewide sounds familiar, but
And they did corporate events
yeah.
as well.
So coincidentally, I go to Atlantic City to the limousine show. And I'm walking around, and it's got to be 11 o'clock at night, Alex. And, you know, these casinos and these hotels have so many hallways and stuff. And,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm just walking down one of the hallways, and these are spacious hallways, very wide, and they have couches there where you could stop and just.
Yep.
And there's a guy, as I'm walking, there's a guy sitting on a couch. And I walk by them, and just absolutely bizarre. It's Dave Schultz from the
No way.
Flyers.
What?
So
Random.
Alex, I have to stop, right? And I said, "Excuse me, my name is Carlos Saldivia, but if I didn't know any better, you look a lot like Dave Schultz." He says, "That's because I fucking am." And he stands up and he puts his hand out and he shakes my hand. It's so approachable.
That's awesome.
Do you know that this man has the same exact car that I did?
The
And
limo.
being
The
an
same
NHL player.
exact limo.
Yeah.
So we got into this rambling conversation, and we started to figure out that, you know, for some weird reason, I got a lot of jobs out of the Philadelphia area, and he's in Cherry Hill with his company, and he's getting a lot of jobs out of the New York area. So we decided to kind of partner up, and anytime that we had calls from Philly, I'd give them to him, and anytime he had calls from New York, he'd give them to me.
You basically sub each other out.
We subbed each other out.
Yep.
What completely a polar opposite persona than his on ice persona.
That's crazy.
Just one of the finest men, and thrilling because, you know, on Twitter, okay, and almost on everything online, my handle is Hockey Nuts, HOCKEYNUTS. So I just, you know, life is so funny, right? It's just such a small world.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But so I got the Devils account because I became close with Kirk. Kirk was the captain, and he knew all the other guys, you know,
Yep.
Joey Sorella and, you know, McLean and Kenny Danico, you know, and George McPhee and Brendan Shanahan was a rookie the year before I got the account, and, you know, I used to drive him a lot, and what a great guy he was.
I feel like hockey guys have to be some of the more down to earth guys because when
Yes.
you look at that sport, it's still perceived as very much of a blue collar sport, just in the way it is, because it doesn't matter if you're the pretty boy on the team or you're the bruiser, the enforcer, you're all getting hit. You're all
Yeah.
skating. So
Yeah.
it's like you gotta have some sort of blue collar toughness to hockey.
Yeah.
I never played it. It's an expensive freaking sport.
It
I
is.
played football instead. I did football, track and that. But hockey is just they're just so down to earth, it looks like. And even when you hear them talk, like
Yeah.
they just seem like a bunch of nice dudes all overall.
Well, and you get all that aggression out, beating the shit out of each other,
Yeah.
so they can afford to be nice, you know, once
Yeah.
they get out of the real world.
Darth Maul in the chat is like, yeah.
Yeah,
fuckheads.
fuck it, yeah, definitely.
So,
let me, go ahead, no, Carlos.
Just one more thing. So you became a Devils fan living in New Jersey
By default, yeah.
by default. Okay. So did you follow the 1987-88 season? Were you too young for that, or you too
I was
old?
being born in '88, so
Okay, yeah. That was a glorious year, the 87-88 year, where they went to the semifinals and lost 4-3 against Boston. What a fabulous
See,
year
I got
that
to
was.
enjoy all of Martin Brodeur, though, the greatest
course,
keeper
yeah.
in the history of man.
Of course.
So that reinvented the position, and there's a reason why there's the goalie crease is because Brodeur was too damn good on his skates.
Yeah.
He is the
Yep.
reason why they invented that. But
The trap ruined the Penguins and a bunch of other high skilled teams in the '90s. I remember that shit.
it is crazy, but it's like the heyday of the '90s goalies, and even like it's ridiculous what they had between like Dominic Hasek, Patrick Waugh.
Oh my gosh.
You know, even Richter on the Rangers doesn't get the love he deserves, but I thought Richter was fantastic as well. Luongo, we could just go on and on and on about the great keepers of the '90s, and it's like these eras.
You got
we've
to
had
add
lately-
Tom Barrasso, or else Rob will get upset.
I love
Barrasso.
Barrasso growing up. Yeah,
I mean, listen, Barrasso was good on Power Play '96. Okay, I played.
There you go.
On the PlayStation 1.
he's no Marty. He's no Brodeur. I'll admit that fully. Right, that's a different class. You know.
And the thing is, though, like even that second class group in that generation would have been the best goalies in this generation.
Yeah.
I really believe that because they were a very different stand on their head type of group then.
Yeah, Hasek was
Well, Dominic
Wow.
was incredible.
So let me ask you this, Alex. Like, getting to the politics shit, when you're talking to people, right, and you're trying to convince them to vote to Trump, what do you think is the easiest sell to people? Like, that you're saying why it's important to vote for the Republicans and vote for Trump going into this election.
So it's been so difficult because if they're a low information voter or even just a regular person, they've been seeing so many headlines.
Yep.
And the headlines that they see are from the leftist media. So they're never going to paint anything Trump says or does in a positive light. So a lot of the ways that you kind of have to sell it is, first, the memes of Kamala actually help because normal people do like memes. And when you're highlighting just how much of a moron she is, that kind of reflects on normal people.
Yep.
Because you got to shift away a little, because if you start talking about Trump's economic plan and what he did foreign while he was president and this and that, they're going to go back. But yeah, he said this and he made fun of that person. Those things resonate. And I think also the important thing is you just have to sit there and try and tug at the sympathy too. Sometimes he got fucking shot.
Yeah.
Like you got to remind people that anyone that they're willing to try and assassinate is probably worth it. Right. So it's a hard sell for people that aren't inclined to Trump already. It's easier to kind of get some of those never Trump Republicans to come back into the fray because they might have been conservative at one point. I really think most of them are leftist, but some of them maybe. But it's, for me, it's more about consolidating the Republican base and getting their lazy asses out to vote. Because if the people on the right went out and voted like they should, if more Christians got out and voted, which is probably the most disappointing demographic every single freaking election, that Christians feel the need to not go out and vote. And I think it's insane. But if we could just get the Republican bloc, there is significantly more of us than there are of them.
Yeah, totally agree.
And especially now where the left has pushed everyone that isn't a Marxist to the right, it should be easier than ever. So I feel like it's more of consolidating than trying to get new ones in.
So I don't know if I introduced you. Maybe I did. It's been like 18 hours for you. This is Todd Bartley.
Hey,
this
Todd.
is Alex. Todd is a sports journalist who midnights as an actual journalist. He used to do the radio show with me and Carlos. So yeah, Todd, I think you'll really like Alex. He invited me on a show with his brother a while back. It was a great time. One of my favorite people to talk to about politics and about sports. And I think he's got his finger on the pulse exactly in the same way that we try to articulate it's sort of what's going on with the country and the importance of getting out there. So wait, you got some questions, Todd, or is it just going to be more dad jokes? What do you got for us, sir?
I'm actually, we've never addressed this, and now he just put it back up again. I'd like to know from Alex your thoughts on Carlos's 7th grade hockey photo that he just put up again and then disappeared. I don't understand, after all these years and the pandemic and everything else, how he's still allowed to have license to use that photo.
So I grew up with AOL chat rooms, okay? And AOL Instant Messenger. And you were never who you said you were, okay? And on the internet, you can be exactly who you want to be. You are an avatar. So you know what? To get a little bit leftist here, Carlos can be whoever he wants.
Now we know where
Live
Tim
and let
Waltz.
it live, baby.
Now
Live
we
and
know
let
where
live.
Tim Waltz got the idea. He got it from
You
Carlos.
got to come in there
Now
like
we
one of
know.
these if you're Tim Waltz.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we're not allowed to make fun of Tim Waltz. We can make fun
Right.
of Elon.
I'm not making
Elon can
fun of
get
Tim
me.
Waltz. I'm just stating facts. The guy said he was certain places that he was never there.
What's the name of the guy that owns the Clippers?
Ballman.
Microsoft guy, right? The
Steve
weird
Ballmer?
way he waves his arms. That's what it reminds me of.
I mean,
Yep.
no
The
one
good
should
news
be a
is,
wacky
as of-
inflatable arm person.
Yeah.
The good news is, as of Wednesday, Coach Waltz can go back to being Coach Waltz.
So, Alex-
he's really good at running those pick six plays in the final quarter. Like, everything that guy says is so inauthentic. It's like, holy shit, have you ever watched a football
Did
game?
you guys see what the Marvel people did for Kamala? That little.
Oh my god!
I
It was
put it on my show
You're talking
earlier
about
today.
Zoom?
yes,
Zoom
yeah, it was
with
like
all
a
those-
Zoom
yeah,
call
well,
from the
they-
Marvel.
yeah.
Here's the thing: I don't know. I can't tell if they all filmed it separately or if they were actually on a call.
Yeah.
Because number one, it looks like some of it's filmed separately, but some of it's not. But then for a bunch of A-list actors who I actually like a good majority of their
Sure.
work, they fucking sucked.
Yeah.
There was no direction. They were terrible.
No enthusiasm.
Especially Robert Downey. Robert Downey was the worst on that thing.
Yeah. And like you could tell, like it's phoned in. Like
Oh,
I think
100%.
even celebrities are starting to understand. Like, holy shit! Even the people that are voting for the candidate we want are tired of this shit. They're tired of the pandering. And then the message that they're saying, it only makes sense in an ironic sense if they're not doing what they're actually picking on when they're saying down with democracy. Oh, down with democracy. And then like Don Cheadle's like, I don't know that that's the message we want to say. No, we're down with democracy, down with democracy. It's like, hey, dumb shits. One of the most anti-democratic things we've ever seen is what the Democrats did to lie about Joe Biden so
And
that he
to get
gets through the
Kamala in.
primary and then put in Kamala Harris, who's zero. And again, what I'm trying to stress is to Democrat voters, you're watching out there and you don't like Trump, fine, whatever, right? Do you understand that the Democratic Party, they didn't fuck me over. They didn't screw over the Republicans. They screwed you over. They lied to you, the Democratic voter, because they don't trust you to have a voice. They think they know better than you and that your voice is a damage and a danger to what their agenda is. So they said, eat shit. We're going to lie to these people because we
But,
don't
Rob,
respect them at all.
They're stopping Hitler.
Of
If you
course.
had noticed, they're stopping Hitler. So in order to stop Hitler, it doesn't matter. You have to stop Hitler, and the only way to stop Hitler is to vote for Kamala.
Let me get a
Well, let me give you another perspective on this.
real quick. Let me read the super chat real quick. Alter Void for $5 talking about Carlos' picture says maybe he identifies as if he was there. So there you go. Okay. Sorry to interrupt there. Go ahead,
Tim
Carlos.
Waltz is going to be identified as in this. He's going to be
Alter
here.
Void, by the way, if you saw in the chat, is a Pelly Lindbergh fan.
Oh, okay.
Another guy that I loved. And listen, Pelly, I think, is probably the only flyer other than LaRue that I like to respect. So let me go back and give you a little perspective on these actors, and tell me if you agree.
Sure.
Just in my experience, specifically with casting and dealing with actors, these people, I don't think I've ever met a segment of people that had such low self-esteem. And I think that they do these things, Rob, because they're terrified. They're afraid. And if they don't do what the regime tells them, they'll never work again. So the fear, it's kind of like an inverse fear, you know? And yeah, there's a couple of actors out there that are, you ever see Die Hard and Agent Johnson and Agent Johnson?
I've seen Die Hard.
The one guy, the white guy is a conservative.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And
We have
obviously
Kevin
Clint Eastwood-
Sorbo. We got
Kevin Sorbo's the man.
Yeah, he's great.
Right.
John
So
Voight.
those guys
Vince
are not
Vaughn.
afraid. Okay. There's a small number of people that aren't, but the majority of them are so reliant on being liked by the regime, includes the Hollywood regime, that they'll do anything. They'll be talked into anything. And if I want to think that if you got them privately, they would probably tell you different than what they've done.
I don't know.
And I'm not including Robert
Downey.
Robert De Niro in this. I don't think anything.
Or Mark
anything.
Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo sucks. too.
He's
Right.
they-
Well, no,
they're-
I
Ruffalo
can't stand
made a
him.
movie.
He doesn't have
they-
a body of work like
They made a
that-
movie
that-
about pedophilia, basically. I don't
Right,
like
Right.
Mark Ruffalo
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. But he doesn't have the body of work that De Niro has. And
No.
and the disappointing part of it is that you just stop talking. Stop talking.
No, keep
Don't
talking, 'cause
say
you make them
any-
seem like lunatics.
I know, but I mean, as a lover of film, which is my
Yeah.
core love is film. I've just had 40 years of a great political gig being a filmmaker doing political media.
Yeah.
That being said,
Until you're tired.
until I
Allegedly,
retired.
yeah.
I did retire. They're terrified, and I know that fear because and my go-to play in convincing actors to feel good about the fact that they didn't get picked was the movie Forrest Gump, and my pitch was this: Wendy Finnerman carried that script under her arm for 10 years. And they didn't make it because they couldn't find Forrest. That man was born to play that part.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it from that lens and don't feel bad that you weren't Forrest Gump, because only one person could be that, and that was Tom Hanks. So
so from my perspective, and I think from someone that's worked in that sphere, I feel like this is kind of a similar connection to when you're thinking about politicians and athletes, where we put them on this pedestal and we want to think that they're these, we want their opinions because we like them. And we tend to think they're smarter than they are. And I just think that, for every 5 smart actors, there's 50 morons that just are, and not necessarily morons either. They're more focused on their craft than doing anything else. So it's like anyone else that's going to work every day. If you're some 20-something-year-old hot chick and your shtick is you're good looking and you're semi-decent at acting, you're going to go to your acting classes, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to watch what you eat, you're going to do all that. And on the peripheral, maybe you might catch a quick story about Trump said X, Y, and Z, Kamala is going to do this for you. And that's where your worldview gets shaped. So I feel like we put these individuals as high information people that are in this. And so we should know what they're saying, where everyone sitting here pays attention more in a week than they probably have their whole career.
yes.
So I think that they might not necessarily be dumb people because, remember, a lot of your actors and actresses were the nerds in high school. They were your drama kids and things like that. So it's not like they're dumb. But I just think that, like everyone else, like a lot of normal people, we're in such a small section with being on social media, being on YouTube. We're 5% that actually pays attention. I think actors and actresses are no different. And in a way, you're kind of correct, Carlos, because they just kind of want to do what they're told. Their agent goes to them, hey,
Apathy.
don't go against the Film Actors Guild. Don't go against, and yeah, that's
the name.
Right. YouTube.
Right.
I didn't say the word YouTube. But don't go against them. Don't go against anything that the union wants to do. Play ball. And I think that's kind of their mentality is whatever. I'm just playing ball. It's just another role that I'm not.
And I think a lot of it is, I was going to say, I think a lot of it is this too. Like, you see this in all areas of life. Like, you see this in the streaming world. I see this. People get into a bubble, and people particularly like that a lot of people are looking to, whether you be an athlete, whether you be a streamer that a lot of people are watching, whether you be an actor, there tends to be a lot of like celebration of you. And you start to basically get insulated and you believe your own bullshit, right? And it turns out, like, I don't give a shit what your career is. Chess seems to be an activity that you would be like, wow, only the smartest would participate in chess. One of the greatest world champions in history is Gary Kasparov. Look at that dude's X feeds and the dog shit political takes he has. Some of the dumbest baseline shit you'll ever see. And this dude, quite literally, is top 3 chess player in the history of the world.
Multiple world champion.
And you listen to him and you're like, this is just the most basic bullshit CIA talking points. Every single thing that comes out of your mouth. Every single thing. And we're supposed to be like, oh, this is some deep shit because this guy was this fantastic player. Like, the problem is this perforates throughout all of these sort of activities where you're in this bubble and people keep feeding your ego, you're great, you're great. And then all of a sudden it culminates in this weird shit you see. Like, when you see Ben Affleck on Bill Maher's show back in the day, where, Sam Harris, who I have no love for, is making this point about, like, Islam and sort of people that are connected that are violent. And Ben Affleck just looks like the biggest fucking idiot you've ever seen. It's like,
well,
that's
Sam
so
Harris
gross.
wasn't always a moron.
Right?
He got TDS and he went insane. I didn't agree with all of his takes, but there was a time where during, like, right before his TDS, when him and Jordan Peterson did their series of debates, they were interesting. Jordan kicked the shit out of him, but at least he had a semblance of a streamlined thought.
Yeah,
so
and
Sam Harris wasn't always a moron.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And so you see, and like Ben Affleck's just like, that's gross. That's racist. And you're just looking, you're like,
yeah, as the guy is sitting there on Harvey Weinstein films while his female lead is getting raped in his fucking room, Ben Affleck has any room to talk about anything.
That's right. And so then, like, so you're like, how does
He
that shit
lost
happen?
his shit on the show.
Yeah, and then you're like, then all of a sudden you see, like, here's quite maybe the like most physically gifted athlete in a generation, LeBron James, and he comes out and he's reading a book by like Malcolm X. He's on the first fucking page, and he's starting to talk about like he's some like political guru. It's like, dude, no one around these people are like, hey man, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're phenomenal at what you do. Look, I'll tell you right now, I don't know the ins and outs of writing screenplays and shit like that. I enjoy Ben Affleck as an actor. I think he's had many good roles.
He's the best Batman.
Yeah, I'm not here to shit on him as an actor.
Ben Affleck's the best Batman.
Oh, now we're gonna have a drag down about. I haven't even seen that Batman, but I am saying I enjoy Ben Affleck. Let me finish my point, Todd, before you're willing to go to war over this, right? Like, and so like,
Todd's like, I hate this guy.
I don't hate you. We're gonna have a really robust debate about this whole Batman thing because Batman.
But anyways, to finish this point, so you see this sort of stuff, and the last thing is, it's almost like I think a lot of these entertainers. It's almost like an article of clothing, like, oh, everyone has Louis Vuitton bags. I'm going to have a Louis Vuitton bag. It's a status symbol. It's something that's easy. No one gives a shit. How many people in Hollywood really give a shit about the exact suit they're wearing or the exact dress or the exact...
No, they get told what to wear.
They get told what to wear, and that's the safe option of shit that's popular. Very few people are actually trendsetters. Most are just going along to get along. Well, it's easy to do that with political opinions, too. Here's the safe political opinion. This will help your career. Go out there and say this point, and we know that's what you're supposed to say, and everyone will clap like seals, and that's okay.
And they all line up and do it.
Well, the problem is the pendulum's starting to swing. And they're always, because they're not trendsetters, they're behind the 8 ball. So now they're getting clowned on because they have these vapid opinions, and people are like, well, wait a minute, what the fuck are you talking about? Where did you get that? And they don't know what to do. They're just like, but that's what I was told to say. Like, that's what everyone says. That's just the truth because that's what everyone believes.
Well, most of them are listening to Matt Damon. And as much as I disagree with Matt Damon, the guy's at least articulate and research. I've always said, if the left was smart, they would start grooming Matt Damon to be a politician because he speaks really well about his topics. And even though I'm not a fan of his, he's actually really well spoken and he would be dangerous. So
maybe where did you hear him?
Totally agree. Real quick, super chats.
What did you hear that impressed you?
With Matt Damon?
Mm-hmm.
He is constantly involved in like the environmental stuff and things like that. And he is, again, I don't agree with a lot of it, but he's well known on the stats. And it's not, you can tell it's not just regurgitation because he gets very deep. And he's obviously someone that actually gives a shit about the topics and researches. And even if it is fed, he's very well spoken with it. And he sounds believable. So maybe he would be a great politician.
Yeah. Real quick, some super chats. Damien for $2 says, I heard the time switch happens at 2 a.m. local time. That is true. So we're almost or wait, does it go for shit? I thought it went from 2 to 3 and then back to 2, but maybe it goes from 1 to 2 and then back to 1. I guess we'll find out here in a couple minutes.
No, it's we're back to 1 again.
Okay. All right. So
we need to get rid of this shit. I'm so tired.
Me too. It's horse shit. Last super
Russ
chat.
Diamond has the legislation, by the way, to go regular 24/7.
Get him, Russ.
And just end it.
Super chat. One last one. Alter Void for $5 says Ben Affleck looking like Forrest Gump because of J-Lo. Super simp. What a weird crew, right? Like man, that Kevin Smith crew. You know, with Ben Affleck, with Matt Damon and stuff. Man, there's a guy who's like fell off this fucking
Clerks
rockers.
is such a classic, and Chasing Amy is so freaking good. And it's sad that Kevin Smith sucks.
Yeah, Mallrats.
He went from being just like a fun nerd to, again, someone that started telling us his political opinions, and it's like, go away. Just keep on being a nerd and having a cool comic store in New Jersey.
Now it's just about taking beloved characters like He-Man and Batman, and anytime he writes for either, boy, is it dog shit. Like, I read the one Batman comic he wrote. It was so bad. It was like 6 pages of just like basically graphic sex scenes with some woman that Bruce Wayne just happens to be. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
it used to be cool.
Yeah, it's sad to watch it happen to these. But these people, like, you shouldn't be out there. Like, even like someone like us, I think we are more involved. We're looking at shit. You shouldn't be intimidated by anyone's political opinion. Fucking do your own. Come to an idea. Look, you may have just different core beliefs than us, and that's okay, right? And just stick to your guns. You don't have to be a dick about it, but stick to your guns and don't be intimidated by people. That's half the battle. You think that you're alone and that people don't agree with you, or that you need someone else to nod their head with you to have an opinion. You don't, man. You don't at all.
Like Andrew said, you know, the first second that you show up any defense, they crumble.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely true.
So tell us about your show, Alex.
I'll be right
So
back. Go ahead.
my show, the Alex Cuesta show, essentially, it started off as us just bringing in people to interview once a week. We had Rob on. We would love to have either of you guys on, Carlos or Todd. You guys are always welcome to jump on. But we've kind of evolved now. That was a show where we would have a guest on. We would talk about what they wanted to talk about. Me and my brother, pretty confident in all of our universal knowledge. And we would kind of talk about what they want to talk about. So a little different. We didn't come in there with the agenda of asking them questions about our things. We want to talk about their stuff. We've evolved. We're going as many nights as we can a week. We take nights off here and there. But basically, we talk about kind of news of the day, topics that interest us, anything like that. We talk politics, sports, nerd culture. We're both big like superhero, anime fans, all that type of stuff. So we have a wide range, which YouTube hates us for that, but that's okay. Yeah, that's what we do. So we're on generally nightly, sometime after 9 o'clock. And because that's when I put my daughters down for bed. And then once a week we try to interview someone, bring them on, and it could be political, it could be sports, it could be anything. We just
What's
like
your
to talk to
proudest
people.
moment in the show?
Ooh, proudest moment. That's a lot because we've talked to a lot of real cool people. Proudest moment. That's a tough one. I mean,
How long has the show been running?
probably 3, almost 4 years now.
And how did you and Rob hook up?
I saw Rob and I messaged him because I've never had any fear about messaging people. If they don't answer, they don't answer. They tell me to piss
Right,
off. That's fine.
right.
But I saw Rob. I thought he was interesting, and I messaged him, and he said yeah. And then we did the show, and we've been cool since. I like Rob. I like what he does here. Try to check in as often as I can. Jump in, say hello. But I've been podcasting for almost 8 years now and things like that. Did a sports show to start, and did a similar thing there. Interviewed people. And that's when I realized. And anyone out there watching that does a channel or anything like that, have no fear messaging anybody. Because you'll find out there's a lot of normal people, even in they could have 20, 30, 40,000 followers. Like most of the time they're just normal people. I messaged Michelle Tafoya. Michelle Tafoya came on
Oh, wonderful.
That's
the
cool.
Alex Cuesta show. And she is the nicest woman. And I still can message her today and she'll say hi and things like that. And she's doing awesome with her show right now. But it's like you message these people, and I found out doing my sports show early on. I messaged random people. Some of them were my heroes growing up and things like that. And some of them came on, some of them didn't. But the craziest moment is when you message somebody that's like a pro athlete or a former pro, and they message you back and they're like, sorry, you can't come on for X, Y, and Z. And it's like, what are you saying sorry for? You know what I mean? Like it's that moment, but it's just, so yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing now for a little while is just, I like talking to people. And when it comes to our show, I was doing it with my brother and we were just kind of shooting the shit. And the moment when I told him we were crossing a pantheon into basically being on a list is we had Billboard Chris on the show. I don't know if you guys know what Billboard Chris is.
With some people on earlier that have worked with him. Nat and the guy worked with Billboard Chris, yeah.
And Chris is a freaking great dude fighting for the right cause. But I said to him, hey, once we have Chris on,
That's a
it.
Rubicon. Yep.
We're on a list. They know who we are. Whether other people don't, there's a group of people that now know who we affiliate with.
Right.
And he was like, yeah. And then from that point, we've been all gas.
So what's your brother's name?
David.
And tell me a little bit about him.
He lives in West Virginia. We both grew up in Jersey, right by Seaside Heights.
Okay.
So a small little town called Manchester, who they just won their first home playoff football game ever, first playoff win in history for football. So
Wow.
for my alma mater there.
We got a super chat that might be relevant here. Ultra Void for $5 says, question for Alex, man check. What's the weight on your bowling ball behind you?
Awesome.
Oh, that's not a bowling ball, actually. That is a soccer ball from my older daughter's U5 rec team when I first coached them. The team actually liked me enough that they signed a soccer ball and gave it to me, and it's one of my prized possessions because now, 3 years later, I'm still coaching them at U8, and we kick ass, and they're learning the game of soccer. So
That's awesome.
And this also came from that. My Yeti, Coach Cuesta, came from that. So,
Awesome.
What's
Oh.
If you
outside?
were
does it?
bowling though, what weight you using?
It fluctuates. Depends on how I'm feeling. 14 or 12.
What's your
It depends
average?
on my average. When I warm up, I float 150, and if I'm feeling real good, 170.
So I'm gonna show you guys something here. Right now, don't get freaked out. So here's my hand. You can see that, right? Here's my
Gross.
other hand. You see this little half thumb nub I have here?
Yeah, what'd you do
It's
there?
like a toe. That's just, it was born like, I guess Megan Fox has a similar thumb. Now it's wider than a regular thumb. So my entire life I'm right-handed. It is incredibly hard to find a bowling ball that matches my fingers and
I don't
thumb.
use my thumb.
Oh, see, that's what people have told me. They just
I do 2 fingers, and you kind of simulate it, and then you just add English to it.
yeah. See, no one ever showed me that was. So I was
I didn't. No
constantly
one showed me. I just started doing it because I couldn't do the thumb thing. I would bowl like a fucking
Okay.
idiot and gutter ball it every time.
Now go back to your coaching thing with
Yeah.
your daughter. Okay. So let me just speak from the heart for just a second. I remember like it was yesterday coaching my daughter and those kids, and then they go to the co-ed thing. And those weekday practices, the Saturday games, the travel stuff, it goes by in a blink. And I say that because I went to dinner earlier tonight with my 20-year-old sophomore in college daughter, and I'm
Jesus.
looking at her across the table going, I wish you were U10 again, and we were doing the youth soccer thing again, instead of this beautiful grown woman across the table from me, well on her way, in life, and just crushing it in life and everything. I told the kids, and I say this to them all the time, and they're graduating high school now, and they're going to college. And I say to that group, and there's a very special group of kids for those years, and they say back to me, they're like, Coach, we gave up soccer when you stopped coaching. Like,
Isn't that the greatest title in the world, Coach?
it is.
Yeah,
And
It really is.
Great.
I mean, they're like, can we just like bottle it, go back in time, and just the undefeated seasons and the
Yeah,
memories and the practices. Those were the greatest practices, the greatest days, the greatest
fun.
interactions. It's awesome. And I would not trade that. You are in such a great place
I'm
right
coaching
now.
both of my daughters. I'm coaching my older daughters now in U8, my younger daughters in U5, and it's so fun now because like I'm not racing because they're like 8:30 and 9:30. So I'm texting the 9:30 coach. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be a little late. I have to run up because the older fields are at the bottom. All younger fields are at the top. The older game's a little longer. So no, it's a great time. I've been coaching for a pretty long time. My brother David, that Rob knows, is 8 years younger than me, and I was coaching because I played football and he played football. I coached him from flag football all the way up to midgets. Pop Warner had Mighty Mites, Junior Pee-wees, midgets. I coached my high school football team for a little. I coached track over at my alma mater, Marist, where I ran. So coaching is just something I enjoy doing. And I've never had more fun than watching kids that I coach succeed. There's nothing cooler than that. And I was an athlete my whole life. I had success being an athlete. Like that's whatever. My successes are nothing compared to watching one of my athletes succeed. And now I'm watching my daughters do it. It's so freaking cool.
And from competing, time goes by
Too fast.
in a blink. 15 years, I'm thinking, oh, where did it go? Where
I'm
did it
convinced
go?
I could still get on a track and race. And I know if I got on there and I tried to do anything, I would just like curl over into a ball in the corner and just be like, every muscle in my body would be pulled and instantly.
See, I'm in many ways I'm like I was 36 when I had my son. Well, I only have one kid right now, and he's 3. He'll be 4 here on January 9th.
Nice.
And like hearing you guys talk, it's like, oh shit, I get all this awesome stuff to look forward
Oh.
to. Every age that he's had, I was like, I don't want this to change. Like, infant Hank, I'm like, this dude's the best. And then 1-year-old Hank, I'm like, awesome. 2-year-old Hank, now he's 3. And it's like, it's just each stage, like just the changes that you see and sort of like just how new everything is to him. Like just to see him, like everything's exciting. Everything in the world is exciting. It's new. I'm so in for it. I can't wait. We'll be doing T-ball. Will be the first sport next year.
It gets
4 years
harder,
old.
but it gets funner at the same exact time.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Let me go back to the Batman thing with Alex, and then I got to
Oh,
jump
do
because later today is going to be great. I know you got to do the thing to another 7 hours, and I just later today
No,
is
yeah,
going to be
Rob,
crazy.
you're
and then
Iron
Monday.
Man. I freaking love it. And
Thank you.
Carlos, you've been with them for most of this
Yep.
too, man. This is freaking.
But-
you guys are mad, Ben.
But I want to kind of do the Trump weave if we
do it.
can, or if I can. But for you, Ben Affleck's Batman to you is the best Batman, where for me, Christian Bale's Batman in the trilogy is the best Batman for me,
Oh, he's
right?
fantastic too. Don't get me wrong.
Where
Christian was amazing.
where Man of Steel, I checked out after that one with Cavill, and I couldn't follow Zach's progression through the next couple of movies, but it was Man of Steel hit me at the right time. A lot of stuff going on. The trilogy was great. That for me brings me back to Trump and why he's the best candidate that we need now. Everything's going on in the world's on fire. The economy's in the dumper. He's going to turn it around. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. He's the right guy for the job, just like Christian Bale was the right guy for the Batman at that time in my life, in that trilogy for me. As for you, as you mentioned a moment ago, it was Ben Affleck. Guys, tell me if I'm getting any of that wrong.
Oh no, the thing is with Ben Affleck, being a comic book nerd, I thought he brought it to life the best. But I do love Christian. I don't think there would have been a better person to play Batman in whatchamacallit, Christopher Nolan series.
Chris Nolan's, yeah.
I think he fit it real well. There's some very memeable and funny moments in those as well. But I'm also the person that says out of that trilogy, Batman Begins was the best movie. So I'm on like the outskirts of a lot of these opinions.
And we can also agree that Michael Caine is the sleeper in that trilogy, by the way.
Michael Caine's incredible. He's
Right.
a sleeper in everything he's ever been in. He's
Mhm.
amazing.
Listen, what if I
He is.
I'll go with the trendy answer. Go. Actually, Kevin Conroy's the best Batman from Batman the Animated Series, right? Which, by the way, he did do a phenomenal job.
He's
but-
up there.
Oh, he's great.
Mark Hamill, as much as he's a douche dick, is the best Joker.
Oh, he's
I will
great.
go- Heath Ledger gets it from a lot of people. Mark Hamill is my Joker because I grew up with the animated series. Just like this Margot Robbie Harley Quinn is bullshit. The Harley Quinn from the animated series is the greatest one. So,
Isn't it weird? Like you animation back then, like for being geared, it was accessible to children, but very like I don't want to say adult theme meaning like sexual. That's not what I mean. But adult theme and like there's serious shit going on in Batman the Animated
yeah.
Series. It's not just like mindless like Power Rangers. Like hey, we're just gonna punch the bad guys. Like there's real shit. Yeah, that was. I think that.
And there
helped
was
shape-
serious stuff going on in the Flintstones. What are you talking
Oh, well, that was your time, Todd. Us youngsters that are only 40 years old, we were growing up on Batman the Animated Series. Like a lot of
I
those
mean,
cartoons.
back in Carlos's day when they were actually flipping the pages so you could see the cartoon come to life
the
in Carlos's
base-
day. You know what I mean?
Flintstones-
which one of you
based
guys
on
remembers the
Carlos.
Herculoids? Which one of you guys was your time was the Herculoids?
The Herculoid? I don't
Yeah,
even
was
know
my
what that
dad's
is.
time. My dad's 64. He used to like the Herculoids and He-Man and all those.
He-Man, I
yep.
had the action figures. I had all the action figures of He-Man. And I had
I knew who He-Man was. I never watched He-Man.
X-Men and
Yeah.
shit. I had all the X-Men action
X-Men,
figures.
Spider-Man,
That's-
Thundercats.
There was that,
So
that's-
Ultron.
they're coming out with the Thundercats movie in 26, I
It's
believe.
gonna be
And
awesome. Gonna be like Cats the
In-
movie.
yeah, in December, I believe there's going to be an animated film about Lord of the Rings, The Ride of the Rohirrim.
I know it's gonna be so.
Did you
I
say
am so
animated or
tired
is it
with them.
live action?
Animated.
No,
Riders-
animated.
Riders of Rohirrim is going to be animated. Now, they're busy butchering everything that has to do with Lord of the Rings, and I'm a massive Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings nerd.
You're what?
I'm a.
So what do you
huge
think
Lord
of the
Rings
Amazon
nerd.
series?
It doesn't exist.
Really?
Are you a gamer too?
It's the most bastardization. They took the Second Age because there was very little writing about the Second Age of Middle Earth, so they took that because they knew there was nothing there, and what they've done with it is they made it awful.
Right.
I mean, I can get into the lore with Galadriel ever picking up a sword makes me want to kill myself because she has no business to ever pick up a sword, and kill myself in Power World. Everyone, not
Are you a
really.
gamer too?
I've fallen out of gaming. I pay attention to it still. I still enjoy it. But when they started making me pay to finish games that I already bought, I kind of told them all to fuck off. And I don't like the downloadable content and everything. I think it's all a scam at this point. But there's still some really good games being made. It's just they're not.
I
from the
mean,
big companies anymore.
role-playing gaming. Do you play D&D?
I played a few campaigns when I was younger. I like D&D. I like the concept of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big D&D person, but I'm not someone who dislikes D&D.
So I've been in a game for so the summer, July of 79. So I've been in the same game since July of 79,
That's amazing.
and it's a homebrew world. It's a homebrew system, but our world is Middle Earth.
So you also have a fantastic DM that is just continuing that script.
His
and
name
everything.
is,
It's amazing.
there's two of them. One of them is Carrie Solomon, the director of Nefarious and Unplanned.
Oh, I didn't know he was involved. I knew
Okay.
you were involved in that, but didn't know
Dude,
he was.
no, listen.
So do you guys have a YouTube series? Because you guys need a YouTube series of you guys playing this. People love
trying
that
to,
shit.
We're trying to put it together. The problem is that Carrie and Chuck are going to launch a streaming service called Believe Plus, and they have a distribution company, of which, believe it or not, Alex, we're in discussions to try to bring Rob into the fold
Hey,
to make him national and distribute his show.
hell yeah.
So
I didn't know that. That's the first time.
yeah,
Breaking news here.
I'm allowed surprises, right?
Wow.
24 hours.
He deserves it.
So,
And the great news is the hair and makeup budget goes through the roof when they do that, by the way.
But
So he'll get that beard filled in.
Yeah. They got the little patchy.
I've been in the same game since July of '79. That's a long time, a lot of years.
Incredible.
I've got characters that I rolled up in 1985 that are still alive today.
That's
So
amazing.
it's like 40
That's
years,
so cool.
45 years of real time.
Yeah, they're Gandalf's children.
Listen, we got a super chat. One more on this theme of Batman. Ultra Void for $5 says, "You're wrong. Best Batman we all needed, but was stolen from us. Nick Cage." We got a little snippet of it in that Flash movie, right?
Nick Cage is the best at everything.
Yeah.
So let's be honest.
Or he was Superman, right? And Nick Cage in the Flash movie. I didn't
didn't watch The Flash because I don't support people that belong in jail.
Yeah, right. Like,
Ezra
hey, it
Miller.
doesn't matter.
Ezra
They
Miller's a piece of
talk
shit.
about backfiring, right? Like,
my
well,
God,
we're gonna
thank
stick
God
with
it did.
Ezra. How'd that work out? You know,
Ezra's just a bad human. They freaking kidnapped somebody and then got a restraining order against him. I'm going to say him. Fuck you, Ezra.
So tell me the story there real quick.
with Ezra.
Ezra Miller was in Hawaii, if I remember correctly, and was basically grooming a child. And when the mother tried to get said child away from Ezra, Ezra basically, I don't know if there was a weapon involved, right? Was it a gun or
I believe
something?
so. I don't remember.
And essentially held them all up there and was attempting to kidnap the child, had a restraining order put on them, and essentially nothing, I don't think anything ever came of it. After all that, Ezra just kind of came back to acting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Are we sure that case wasn't adjudicated in Lycoming County?
Come on, Todd. We're going to get that story out in the national level. Glenn Lawrence presents production of Men. I know Glenn's going to be calling into the show here shortly. $2 super chat says, "How many hours left, Rob?" Oh, well, we're rewinding back to one.
6
So
at
once
least,
we
right?
rewind back to one,
At
then we have
least 6
7
hours.
We're on the day choice.
Yeah, 7 hours, 24 minutes left. So, by the way, I don't know if people noticed this, but the proportionality of how tired I'm getting to how many curse words I'm using is directly proportional. So
I always have the mouth.
by
to
the
say
end of
words,
this
so I'm
stream,
sorry.
it's just going to be a series of Fs, like just come
So,
7:30 a.m.
If he had a quarter every time, he'd hit that budget, man.
Don McClure, poor Don's going to be calling in like, "Hey, Rob, how's it going?" I'm going to be like, "Fuck!" He's just gonna be like, what?
So, Alex,
Yes.
and Todd, before you leave, can you give me the over/under of how long it's going to take the United States to find a winner in the election? Over/under day-wise.
2028.
I think it'll be at least a week before
it'll
it's confirmed.
If it is Trump, it'll be protested until the next election.
Mhm.
If it is Kamala, we'll be angry about it. We will grunt, we will yell, we will rant and rave like Republicans do, and then we'll continue to go about our day and watch the world go on fire around us.
I said this earlier.
Yeah,
I'll
Todd's
say it
going.
again. I have a theory. The guy that got shelled the most, that did the first actual network interview with nominee Harris, was Brett Baer. Who got shelled the last 4 years for calling the election early when Arizona got called early by Fox News was Brett Baer. He's going to bring it full circle when they call Arizona for Trump, and that clinches it for him Tuesday night at about 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Well, it was 10 o'clock last 4 years ago.
It would be hilarious if Fox News does not call a single state until Arizona gets called and calls Arizona first.
Yeah, that's good.
Refuses to call anybody else. And then once Arizona's in, that's when they call, and then they start calling everyone else.
It's awesome. I'm looking forward to, though, staying up until the wee hours of the morning, just like last time. Be like, great, we live in a first world country. It's supposedly the most advanced in the history of the world. And unlike third world countries, we can't count our votes tonight. So going to bed disappointed. It'll be exciting as it was last time. I'll tell you what, though, people didn't understand what was happening. I remember I was doing a show last election 2020, and I was on with, like, Let's Be Frank, you know him, Carlos, like, good guys, and they're like looking at Pennsylvania like, shit, this is wrapped up, Trump's up 500,000. I was like, yeah, he just lost. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, you wait and see. I was like, you wait and see the votes that come in the middle of the night. Just telling you.
So here's the other thing too that Elon is not letting out of the bag. The world's smartest man can see everything in real time. You understand what I'm telling you?
Mm-hmm.
He's already done this whole big, like, TED talk about, if you have it plugged in and it's on the internet, we can see it.
Yeah.
In real time. Any machine, your phone, anything.
Well, we
So
had
they can see
Jamie
it.
Flick. We had Representative Flick on earlier, and he said that there is no technological reason for us not to know the results of the election within 1 hour of all the polls closing.
Absolutely right. Now, he and
Of
I
course.
disagree on certain things. That we agree on that. And here's my question. How did we go from knowing same night, decades before 2024, and now we're waiting weeks? When did that happen?
Yeah, well, Jamie said one word to define it: fraud.
No question. What are we waiting on?
See, the only fortunate thing for me is I will be in Disneyland on Tuesday, over in Disney World in Florida. So if it's positive and Trump wins, I'll be happy in paradise. If Kamala wins, I'll at least be starting the true downfall in sunny Florida.
There you go.
So,
I was going to ask
well,
you what you were doing
Tim-
election night to see if you
Tim
wanted to
Waltz
call
will
in.
also be there too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go hang out with Timmy. Let's do this. I'll go bounce around with him. We'll be wacky inflatable arm people together.
So, is this the first time that you're taking the girls down there?
Second time, but my little one was only 18 months and she just basically hung on my shoulder the whole time sleeping. So they'll both actually remember it this time, and we'll see if they shape up, because this might be the last time, because I'm not going to indoctrinate them if they make every single princess a trans boy. So
Yeah. No, I hear
we'll
you.
see. But yeah, no,
So
it's going to be
how
a
do you
blast.
reconcile? And I asked this question often to, like, friends of mine. How do you reconcile how so many, specifically in the professional leagues, how do you reconcile their support of Black Lives Matter with spending any money, time, or effort in following the sports? So let me bookcase this for you.
Yeah.
Since 2019, when was the taking the knee stuff, Rob? 2019 or 20?
19. I don't. I
No,
thought it was the
18.
year before.
18.
Yeah, yeah.
18. It was 2018, because that's when Kaepernick lost his job and then
Yeah.
decided to get back in the media.
All right. So I would say about 6 or 7 months after that, I don't know what's going on in sports.
You watch NHL. You watch
I do.
Pride jerseys that come out in NHL, don't you?
But they fought back against
don't
those.
watch.
The NHL players decided once they stopped wearing them, then the NHL was kind of like, all right, we're not doing this anymore.
Like, to answer your
But-
question, Carlos, there is not. I deal with
my
go ahead.
boycott is that I boycott all sports: baseball, football, hockey, and I don't follow basketball at all. I don't watch it.
All baseball?
I don't watch it. Well, Little League baseball I do.
Want me to
which I
talk
know-
to you about the problems with the
they
Little
went
League
all
World
in, too.
Series?
They
So
went
here's
all
the
in
thing.
too.
Here's
Yeah,
the thing, and here's
I-
my answer for that, Carlos. If I were to boycott the things that have the differing opinions from me, I would just sit in my house and never listen or watch anything, or I would just do what leftists do and only stay in an echo chamber. I would only watch you guys. I
Yeah.
would only listen to the Blaze, not Fox News. Only a few people there, only probably Jesse Waters and Gutfeld there. But I would not be able to consume any entertainment. I would not be able to consume anything because I've been able to separate the person and what they're entertaining me with and opposed to what they do, right? I've been an athlete my whole life. I enjoy sports. I am not going to let what the league stands for, or what they say, get in the way of their jobs, which is entertaining me in the end. So like, you know, that's the way I put it. I don't have to go to the games. I don't have to buy the jerseys. The TV deals, they get them anyway, whether I'm watching it or not. So that's the way I kind of parse it is I can separate the opinions, the companies from what value they are bringing me in terms of entertainment. Now, again, I'm a Jets fan, so I don't know what value I'm actually getting. I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, so I'm always hurting there as well. So, but in the end, I've always been able, it's like you look at actors and actresses, right? You could be a Christian and still enjoy Elton John, even though he's been openly gay forever, right? You can do certain things where maybe that person isn't living your personal values, but they're really fucking good at what they do, right? Like, I don't agree with LeBron. LeBron has been the greatest basketball player in my generation, and it's not close. I watched Kobe. It's not close. Again, I wasn't alive for Michael in his hay. Maybe if I was alive for Michael in his hay, I would say that. But LeBron is the most skilled person I've ever seen touch a basketball. And but do I agree with LeBron? No, I think he's kind of an idiot. But I will appreciate watching his greatness. So that's the way I separate it.
You could take this out, like, because I have people ask me this all the time. Look at it this way, in just a simple thing like streaming. Someone will say this to me. They'll be like, Rob, I'm watching you on Twitch, and I would donate money, but I hate Jeff Bezos, and Amazon runs Twitch. And I'll be like, cool, yeah, totally get that. So I'll donate to you on YouTube. And someone will say, YouTube? That's ran by Alphabet. They intentionally throttle sort of conservative voices, and they censor. But I'm not going to give money to Alphabet. It's like, fair enough. We'll go to Patreon. Well, you can't do Patreon because here's the deal with Patreon. They censored conservative voices as well. And you can't do like GoFundMe. You can't do that. Well, what about PayPal? Turns out PayPal was working with the government to censor voices for people that they thought were radical Second Amendment people. So you can't use PayPal as well. Well, then you can go to Cash App. Turns out a lot of the investors can't. And so it's like, if you try to live your life saying, listen, I'm going to reject every single thing that is ran by people that are antithetical to my worldview, it is so pervasive that you won't be able to consume any entertainment. You can't play any video games. Almost the entire industry is dominated at this point. Even like Carlos, I know from just being on the periphery of this and looking in, there's a lot of accusations of shit like D&D becoming woke. Right? Like you had the big scandal with D&D here recently where they were going after all these streamers like Critical Role and places like that. And we're saying, no. We're not going to leave them use this. Goblins and things like that. They're doing the treatment.
Even something like Warhammer 40K.
Yep. And so it's like, what are you going to do? And like at some point, yes, we should be embracing content, material, etc., whatever it may be, of people that come from a worldview like us and are trying. That's true. We should be trying to support that. But I don't know to me, where it gets sort of personal is I can't tell you how many times, because I do this show and people that sort of know me from it but know me in real life will give me shit like, oh, you let your son dress up as Bluey for Christmas or for Halloween? What's with that shit? What about this one episode? I think that promotes LGBT shit. Oh, you let your kid watch the Buzz Lightyear movie? Well, that promotes LGBT.
Oh, hey, I will fight anybody who fucks with Bluey, because Bluey is awesome. Because Bluey actually shows, number one, good family, and number two, your dad isn't an idiot. Right. It is the one rare places where they they love their dad, and their dad's actually a really good role model for them. When you have other kids shows that do the sitcom Dad's an Idiot, Bluey's dope. Yeah, I will fight for Blue. Yes, they have some off-color things I might disagree with, and I just tell my daughters, hey, that's bullshit.
And I get the idea, and the culture war is important, and I'm not disputing. And to each their own, right? Like, if you're like, I'll never consume anything with the Disney label, more power to you. But for me, I choose to reserve, like you talked about Ezra Miller. That's shit that goes to a different level. Yes. And it's almost like this is how stupid I am in real life, right? I always try to tip very well, like 30%. And then if I get shitty service, I'll tip like 10%. And I'm like, I showed them. And my wife's like, hey, dumbass, they don't know that you normally tip 30%. But that's how I feel. It's like when something goes above and beyond, then I'm like, okay, That's too much. So in the hay of the Kaepernick shit, yeah, fuck it. Like my dad and me bartended at a bar in New Bethlehem that's basically a bunch of blue collar dudes that want to watch football all day on Sunday. And my dad risked his job to be like, fuck that. There will not be NFL on in this bar. I don't give a fuck. Fire me. Not happening while this shit's happening. And for that year, for a large portion of that season, they didn't watch the NFL there. Now it's sort of slowly but surely gone back to like, okay, people have let it go. And, there is a fine line, but I feel that people, you don't want to let your righteous anger at sort of how these cultural institutions have been infiltrated make you a miserable sack of shit that's incapable of ever having a good time, ever watching a movie, ever reading a book, ever playing a game. Like, for me, it could go too far. And, I see that with a lot of people that they're driving themselves crazy by being like, we could never have fun. We just got to, so I don't know. That's
and
my
you got to
take
support Nick Bosa with the MAGA hat jumping in
go.
there. Got to support Nick. And there's a lot more based people than playing these sports as well. So
yeah, and for me, what football
it's
is
personal. It's personal to me because for 50 years, Alex, I bought tickets for the Redskins.
Yep.
I rooted for the Redskins. I bought paraphernalia. I went to Washington, D.C.
I agree with you.
I saw the Redskins play at other stadiums. And 50 years of my life dedicated to this team, and they changed the name. And
so bad.
and I feel discarded, and I'm pissed off. And
I agree with
it's
you.
not for everything. Listen, it's not for everything. But I promised myself that I had to take a stand. So I don't follow baseball, hockey, or football. When we have more time to talk, you'll get to know what kind of rabid fan I am.
And I actually didn't know you were a Skins fan. You have a legitimate reason to be fucking pissed. And here's my thing with the Skins and the
I feel
Indians.
betrayed.
If
I
they
grew
had
up a
better
Cleveland
names,
Indians fan.
if they had better
Same.
names, but here's the thing: if they were Indians and the Redskins, if they picked better names than the fucking Commanders and Guardians, then maybe I would not be as mad. They picked these shittiest names for those two teams. Like, pick better names that people can connect to.
Why hasn't the left gone after the Royals?
Leave the Royals alone. They're my second favorite baseball team.
I'm just saying, if they're going to start picking up
Why?
people, you know what I mean?
Why?
Why? Because I like the crest. When they had the crest on their hats,
Oh, okay,
it was
that's
dope
a good
looking.
reason. Yeah.
When I was, again, this is younger me that wanted to pick two teams, and I didn't know that they were both in the AL. My Yankees
You're
and
a
Royals.
Yankee fan or a Met fan?
Yankees.
Yeah.
I like success.
So I know that the Dodgers won. I mean, I have a Twitter account.
X.
I did not follow a single minute of the World Series.
Dead naming X. But see, here's the thing.
We do this all the time on the phone, man. It's unbelievable. It's what we do every day.
I give a fuck.
I did follow a lot of it, and I didn't follow much of the baseball season because it's too much of a freaking commitment. And Aaron Judge had one of the greatest seasons in the history of baseball, and then pulled a fucking Peyton Manning in the playoffs and disappeared.
Yeah.
Because if people remember, for the first 8/10 of Peyton Manning's career, he sucked in the playoffs, but he
Right.
was the best regular season player.
Right.
Aaron Judge pulled that, and it
you
sucks.
saw they didn't pick up Rizzo either, right?
They didn't pick up Rizzo, and Cole opted out, but they
out.
can bring him back if they tack on a year and $36 million to the 4 that they have.
We'll take you back at the Pirates. You don't have to cover first base, Garrett. You'll still be better than what we have.
No, Garrett, they better sign him because he was a fucking dog in Game 5, and they betrayed him with those stupid errors. He gave the 5 unforced runs. Don't get me started with the freaking Yankees.
Well, see, for me,
Did you see the walk-off bunt in the Little League World Series?
It was a walk-off bunt. I don't watch the Little League World Series.
Oh, okay.
that's where Carlos is from Williamsport, where the Little League World Series is housed. So he's there.
If I was there,
No,
I'd
no.
probably watch it. That's pretty dope.
That's where he resides.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, if I was at Williamsport, I'd be there.
Well, it's, for me,
Do you domicile there, or do you reside?
Oh,
there?
yeah. But for me, like football, I don't watch much sports at all anymore. I'm shit to do. I'm busy. I'm working or I'm streaming or whatever. Like my hobby is streaming. That's what I do for fun. It also happens to be something that I hope's doing some good, but that's what I do. But for me, football is unique because of fantasy football, which I could give two shits less about. But literally, I have a group of friends. My wife is in a fantasy football league with me. My friend and his wife, and my other friend and his girlfriend. And so it's literally an avenue for people that I don't get to see that often to just shit talk each other all day, Sunday and Monday. That's it. I don't even watch the games. I'm just like, I'll casually look at the score and be like, oh, look at this dog shit tight end I had. He only needed 3 points to win and blah, blah, blah. And then you're just talking shit. But that's it. It's a communal activity to me. I used to diligently watch every Steelers game. I watched football all day Sunday. I watched every Monday night football game for years and years and years. And now I just don't give a shit. But I'm not actively boycotting. It's not like, I'm going to go out of my way to
have you guys seen the viral video? It was posted the last couple of weeks where the kid is just bawling his eyes out in the backseat of the car, and the dad's like, "What's wrong, little Johnny?" And little Johnny's like, "Dad, my fantasy football team is terrible. My quarterback plays for this team. He threw
that little
three
kid was actually
interceptions."
26.
Yeah.
Oh, it was hysterical. And he's going right down the roster. He's like, "I just don't want to do this anymore." And the dad's like, "It's okay. There's always next week."
And the thing is, I think the big difference with sports too is, Rob, you're not alone, because now, if I have something to do on Sunday, I'm going to go do it. Younger me would have been like, no, from 1 to 4, 4 to 7, whenever the Jets were on, I'm done. I'm in. Now it's kind of like, though, our smartphones and all the updates we get. If I want to basically get every single play, I could put the ESPN with the Gamecast on, and it'll show me the play after it happens, basically. I'll know exactly what happened. You don't have to watch the games to be up to date. Where back in the day, you either needed to walk into a bar that had a game on and look, what's the score? You needed to see it in order for it to be a thing. You don't have to watch it anymore. So you could still be a sports junkie, know every single stat, who did what happened, and then watch highlights on X later.
Yeah.
You don't have to actually get it, because you're not getting highlights from SportsCenter anymore. They're just showing 5 teams that they like.
Well, unless you're a Penn State fan and there aren't any highlights.
Well,
Right.
one of the other things that why I sometimes the most I watch sporting events is actually when I'm at work. So I do home health care with adults with disability like autism, and the guy I work with the most is such a cool guy. He wants interests that the people around him have. So for example, before my coworker started working with him, didn't really care for fishing. Now he's an avid fisherman because someone that took an interest in that showed, and it turned out to be a hobby. Sometimes things hit, sometimes they don't. He is now absolutely loves watching hockey, baseball, and football. And so he loves to watch Monday Night Football no matter who the team. And he likes to ask, he likes the Steelers, so he'll always root for the Steelers. But other than that, he'll always ask who do you want to win? And whoever I say, he'll pick the opposite. So it's fun because and it's just interesting because again, it's someone that you see looking at it through the pure joy of the game, asking questions how many points is that worth? How many points was that play worth? Or, is that a home run? And to watch someone who's still viewing it in that pure of a way, to me, I find that entertaining, and it's still good for me in that sense. So, and it's the same with movies and shit, right? There's movies that, you know how it is now. There's a lot of these streamers that I like that are sort of cultural streamers, like Nerdrotic, other people,
Gary.
Critical. They're great, right? And they'll be like, this show's shit, this show's woke. And then I'll go into work and my man's like, I want to watch Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. I'm like, okay, man, let's suck it up. Let's roll, and you just plow through it. There's a bunch of shit that I watch that I'm just like, oh my, how am I watching She-Hulk right now? But that's the job. You're there to help other people support their interest. And if that's what's let's roll. So it is I see the shit, and sometimes, I roll my eyes. It's sort of the wokeness that's put into everything. But for me, it's just, I try to separate, like you said, Alex, you can't go through life without any entertainment options whatsoever, but it's not the same, man. And I don't know how much, I'll tell you this much, I don't even think the majority of me changing is because I got tired of the woke shit. I think it's literally just being a dad. It's literally stopping and realizing oh shit, yeah, football on Sunday's not that important. It's just not. There's other shit that's more important, and it's
I've known some dads who it's still that was their whole life. Every Sunday they had their man caves dedicated to it. And I just think too, it's when you mentioned, just all the content and things like that, there was, and I've said this before, leftists always put shit in all of their stuff. But the difference was it was a little scene here, it was a little thing there. Now we're getting whole shows dedicated to it, whole episodes or strings of episodes dedicated to it. So it's very
Dern
different
has
where,
a black wife.
yeah, they would write a show and put a little bit of the message in it, where now they're figuring out a message and trying to find out how to make a show that fits the message. It's
Yeah.
a very different way of creating now, because there were always things that I would watch and I would roll my eyes at, but it was a little thing. Didn't care. Throw away. The rest of the content was good. Now you don't get that anymore. Now you have She-Hulk. Now you have Echo, which nobody fucking remembers existed anymore because it was awful. We have all these things. Agatha all along is going to be an all-time terrible bomb because it's miserable. But it's like, if we could just get back to letting leftists be extremely creative, putting their little shit in there randomly, but ultimately making good stuff, go keep being crazy in Hollywood. Stop raping people, but go be crazy.
Yeah.
And then
have
we'll
your
be
little
good.
right. Have your little non-Diddy parties, right? Stay in your little
Yes.
bubble. Have your award show. Pat yourself on the back. But
I'm curious what we're going to find out about Nashville, because all the cultural centers for all these things are getting popped. You have the New York City, you have LA. Nashville's had country for so long. What's going on down there? Who's the ringleader down there? We're going to find out eventually.
They all know, man. That's
They
the
do.
frustrating shit about
Yeah.
this. They all know, and that, like, I'll tell you a little story that's sort of tangential to this. There was a debate tournament. I shouldn't even tell the story. I don't give a shit. There's this debate tournament. I was
It's
at
too
one-
late in the
after-
stream to care.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. It was after 2016. So Trump won, and a bunch of these people in the debate community are losing their fucking heads, and they're screaming at me like, "Oh my god!" It's like literally 2 weeks after the election. And so after getting scolded and all this shit, I'm sitting with my wife in what they call the tab room. And the tab room's sort of where the people that are running the tournament, that are setting up the brackets and all that shit.
Yeah.
And largely what happens is in policy debate in college, the head coaches don't really do much judging of debates. They hire judges out so that they get just lounge around with friends or strategize, whatever. So I happen to have this round off from judging, and I'm sitting in this tab room. And it's the left of the left. And you have these people that start talking about sort of weird, interpersonal situations occurring in different programs in the debate community. And one of them mentioned, I won't mention the school or the name, I will forgive that. Did you know that this one coach at a high-powered school is literally sexually assaulted, like, several of his students? And like they're talking about it, and I'm like, maybe you heard a rumor, but you don't literally know. And they're like, oh no, we've seen like the text messages, we've seen like photos or whatever. We know that this happened, and like they're going off about it. Now these people just got done lecturing me almost en masse about what a sack of shit person I am because I voted for Donald Trump and I hate women and I hate black people and I hate gay people and all this shit. So here we are, like 2 hours later. And I pause and I'm like, so wait a minute, you, without any shadow of a doubt, you've seen proof that these girls were sexually, not just harassed, sexually assaulted. Yes, we've seen the proof. And I was like, well, did you call the police? And they're like, well, no, because you don't understand, that guy's really high powered.
Oh,
and like,
rules for thee and not for me.
And I lost my shit. My wife, Courtney, was there, and I was like, fuck you. I was like, there is nothing on this earth, any career opportunity, that I would take at the expense of some innocent girl that was sexually assaulted because I thought it would hurt my career options. And how dare you motherfuckers sit here and lecture me about what an immoral person I am for how I vote. If you know this shit is going on and you're silent, then you're fucking complacent in this. And I don't want to hear you ever on a high horse again. That attitude pervades Hollywood.
Everywhere.
It pervades the entertainment industry. Like all this shit. They all knew what Weinstein was doing. They fucking know. They know what's going on in Hollywood. They knew what Diddy was doing. They all knew it. They knew it. And they deep down they said it ain't worth rocking the boat. It ain't worth ruining my. That's why even though I thought it was a little overboard, I'll always respect someone like Rose McGowan. Say what you will about the Me Too movement. She came out there when it was denigrating to her career and said, fuck this shit. I'm not going to be silent. I'm going to call all of you fake pricks out. And to me, that's something that's admirable. Even if I think it goes too far, she at least stood on principle, and it harmed her significantly with her career. And that's something that I could respect. At least someone speaking up for what they think's right. Not people that, are going to browbeat people on their moral high horse. And to me, that represents exactly what so much of the entertainment industry is. Denigrating average working class people. Oh, you're all misogynist. You're this and that. Ricky Gervais nailed it at the Oscars that one year when he did it, right? Where he's just
Called them
roasting
the fuck
these
out.
people. He's like, he's like Epstein. Oh, we know he's your friend. He's like, if ISIS started a streaming service, you'd all work for it. But you all
Yep.
claim to be woke, right? That's absolutely true. They're not in a position to lecture anyone. And I feel bad because I know there are probably people in it that are like, holy shit, I don't know what to do. I'm in this conundrum. And it's different between knowing and just suspecting. But they know. They all know.
How many athletes playing in these Saudi Arabian leagues are big time talking about LGBTQ anymore?
Isn't
None
that
of them.
interesting?
Not
Isn't
a
that
single one of them that probably would have changed their logo. Cristiano Ronaldo in the last few years, has he said a single thing about gay pride?
Well,
And not that I've seen.
how's the NBA doing with, criticizing abuses in China? Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
mum's
nope.
the word. Remember the Hong
Nope.
Kong situation where it was like, oh, we can't do that. Yeah, what a crock of shit. And like for me, it's like I don't think there's a problem. If
Well,
you're
John
just,
Cena apologized for that in the
That's
WWE,
right.
and I happen to like John Cena
too.
with all the shit he does with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I think the guy's like Mother Teresa with that right now. He's awesome. But he apologized because he basically said, "Hey, Hong Kong is sovereignty." They
Yeah.
made him apologize.
And it's like there's nothing wrong with silence, right? Like obviously there's something wrong with silence if you
Silence
know
is violent.
if sexual assault's occurring and you know it. That's one thing.
Yes.
But just to like, hey, you know what? I'm an entertainer. I'm not going to weigh in culture and politics issue. Like you hear people like Denzel Washington over and over. I've heard like people interviews like, what do you think about race relations? Whatever. He's like, hey, I'm an entertainer. Like I don't have any specialty to talk about these.
And
other
you want to
things.
know why? That's because Denzel's actually fucking based
Yep.
and doesn't want to get any shit.
That's right. That's exactly it.
Like-
but kudos to him. Just like the old Michael Jordan phrase. When they asked him, about politics, and he's like, "Republicans buy sneakers too." It's like, dude, you don't get involved with that shit, and there's no shame. And if you have some sort of brand of being like it's not incumbent on you that you have to go out and say this shit. And once you do, what a sack of shit hypocrite you look like when you're going to accuse other people of things, and then it turns out that you're
Famous
involved in-
people need to shut the fuck up more. Go ahead. Sorry, Todd.
Sorry, Tim.
James Franklin, I've just heard for the first time one of his post-game comments. He popped off after this loss today with a Kamala Harris word salad that he led with, college football has changed. James, what has changed beyond the fact that you have to score more than the opponent to win?
Did you see he was fighting with the fan?
Oh yeah, I mean it is totally
What happened?
totally off the
I guess a
rails.
fan said something to him and he started arguing. I didn't watch it because I was like, it's another high horse athlete coach on their high horse. And, the fan probably said something disrespectful, but to lower yourself to argue with the fan, aren't you an adult? That's a college kid. Here's the thing. Franklin, I give him credit for dealing with the death penalty and doing a pretty good job during that time. But since they started to get recruits, he needs to get the fuck out of there because he sucks right now. He's a terrible coach. Hey, that's me. I like Rutgers, and Greg Schiano should be on the hot seat. The guy can't develop a quarterback for his life. I think Schiano should be out. That's just
Alex,
me.
I don't know if you knew this on background, then I really got to jump.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but when Bill O'Brien was there right before he left to go to the Texans, literally his last request as they're coming out of the scandal, he said, listen, these guys stuck with me when they could have left. This is all before the NIL, the transfer portal, the whole 9 yards, right? He said, these kids that stuck with me through the absolute worst of the worst of the worst, they deserve, if they get bowl eligible, they deserve to go to a bowl game. And leadership said no. They had already picked Franklin in their minds to be the guy.
Penn State leadership
is-
has been bad for
It is the
long
biggest
time.
slap in the face to Bill O'Brien, who was the handpicked guy to come in and clean up the mess. And talk about cleaning up the guy
Did a great
won
job, too.
games.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole thing with the
Terrible.
whole Joe Pa and Sandusky stuff. I don't know how well you guys know John Ziegler, but I had him on early on in my podcast, and he did in with the benefit of hindsight the whole podcast series, and he's convinced that Jerry Sandusky was innocent. If you guys haven't had a chance to listen for with the benefit of hindsight, it's a really good series. John does a really good job there, and I don't care if you come in there thinking Sandusky is the most guilty guy of all time. You'll at least have doubt. But after listening to that, you'll at least have some doubt. So I'm not here, but yeah, John does good work there. Todd, I don't want to hold you up forever with me yakking. I know.
No,
I
but
could talk forever.
if Ziegler would have represented Jerry at trial, maybe he would have gotten a juror or a judge for reasonable doubt. But when
John
they
really
had
did
the
that.
level of
Incompetence.
legal representation that he had through the whole thing, and they're still appealing. I think it was what, a
I know.
month ago or something. There was
He
an
just
appeal that
lost
just
an
got kicked
appeal.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had both
They
him and Liz on. Liz Habib's awesome too.
they took 6 days to make a statement.
That's crazy.
6 days.
Yeah, but come
the
on, Jennifer.
university took 6 days, paid millions of dollars for PR, and it took them 6 days to respond.
But Carlos, listen, when you juxtapose that against Jennifer Lake, Williamsport School Board member, taking 28 days in the aftermath of George Floyd to make a statement, and 19 months while she's on the school board to make the Myrtle Beach statement, I mean, 6 days is not a lot, right?
You know what I'm saying?
You
You
Todd,
know what I'm saying?
I gotta say, man, you're a pit bull, Todd. Like, you get onto his story. So you got anyone who wants to stick around is welcome to stick around. Supposedly, my editor Black Elk was going to come on at 3. Now, I have to say, I was reliably informed by Carlos that we went from 1 to 2 back to 1, but all of my clocks are saying 2.
It's 3 to 2. Yeah, it's 3 to 2.
Still 6-2.
It's 3 to 2. Okay.
So now here's the problem. My editor Black Elk is like, I'll join you at 3, but
Which 3?
which 3? Right? Like, so I'm like, I don't know. We'll roll the dice here. We'll see what's going on. But Todd,
Bob,
I know
I'm actually going to get out of here too myself. I have to go. If I don't help my wife clean the house tomorrow before Florida, I will be divorced, and I still like her. So,
Alex,
So
I'm gonna
one-
meet-
you look
one
forward
more
to the next
question.
conversation. Go
One
ahead.
more question. So is Cuesta a Latino name or a Spanish name from Spain?
it is the roots of it are from Spain, but my family's from Ecuador. It's branched off the Costa name, but Cuesta actually has roots actually in Spain as well.
Where in Spain anyway? Do you know?
I don't know the exact location. I just know that I traced the lineage, and I actually have a legitimate coat of arms, a Spanish coat of arms, for my last name.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Alex, I put your link up there to your channel. Can you
Saw
tell people, like, if they're looking to catch you, like, on a regular scheduled stream, what's your regular week schedule look like?
So we try to be on every single Wednesday at 9 p.m. with a guest. If not, sometime after 9 o'clock, we will be on just shooting the shit. We're not always the most organized with our dailies, but it's the beauty of being a YouTube streamer. You're not always the most, but 9 o'clock Wednesdays is when we will try to have our guests on and do our regular show. But then, yeah, every day after that, make sure when you subscribe, put notifications on so you can know when we're coming on.
Yeah. Well, thanks so
So,
much for being. Oh, go
Do
ahead,
you have
Carlos.
an X account?
We do. It's if you just go search the Alex Cuesta Show anywhere, you'll see it. My logo's a bunch of little white arrows in a circle. You'll see it there. It's at the Alex Cuesta Show on X, Instagram, Truth. I'm one of the rare people that has a Truth. It's there. But yeah, we're everywhere there.
Yeah, I got your X link put up there too. So thank you so much, Alex, for joining. We'll have to work more together. I was going to ask you if you were around election night, but yeah, you got more important things to do.
I
So
mean,
we'll talk
see
soon.
if I'm sitting in my room and we're not doing anything election night, and I can go step out on a balcony. I got my phone. I got headphones. I could jump in for a few minutes.
All right, man. Well, hey, have a great time with your family, and hopefully next time we talk, we're celebrating a Trump and Republican
Hopefully.
victory.
Todd, Carlos, if you guys ever want to jump on the show, Rob has my information.
Yep.
He can pass it along to you guys. I would love to have
Absolutely.
you guys on.